how to figure out a budget for our customers. To start with, this budget sheet is one of many that our company uses. In addition, there are several lenders that use different calculations for ratios. This is just an estimate, and so it's not exact. It's just an estimate. To start with, ask the following questions. How many hours do they work if they're full-time? As long as they say they're full-time and they work at least 40 hours, enter 40 hours here, and their hourly rate here. Enter 40, and then you're going to put the rate, which is 18. So it's going to be 40 times 18 times 4.33. So 40 times 18 times 4.33. Enter here is 3117.60. Same thing here, 40 hours times the pay rate of 16 times 4.33 will give you the average monthly gross income. 0. This line here is if you had overtime, and it would be the base pay, which would have been 16 times 1.5 times the average hours worked. If the customer typically works overtime for an extended period of time that the bank will accept, this is where the overtime field would be. Another area to add income is if they get court-ordered child support. As long as it's court-ordered and they can prove to the bank that they've been receiving it consistently, you can add it here. If they're permanent disability, this would go, or Social Security. If they're self-employed, ask them the following questions for the last 2 years. The taxable income divided by 24. Some lenders will allow you to use 1 year's tax returns, but they typically require 20% down. So for this example, we're just going to do a full-time job based on 40 hours a week at these pay rates here. We're going to add $31.17 and 60 cents here, $27.71.2 here. You add column A and B together. That will give you combined income, $58.80. And if you run the credit report, you're going to be able to enter the total debt here. So for this training exercise, we're just going to estimate payments for both applicants here. And if there's a student loan, even if it's deferred, enter 1% of the total. So if they have a $10,000 loan, multiply it by 1% and estimate $100. And this is just for budget purposes. Every bank's a little bit different. So you're going to add, let's just say this is the total debt for both borrowers. You're going to add column D, the borrower, and the co-borrower in column E, it's 300. You're going to add them together, and it'll give you the combined debt for this customer. It's $1,000. And you're now going to figure out the front ratio and the back end ratio. Each lender is different. We're just going to use an average of 28% for front ratio, 45% for the back end ratio. What you're going to do is C, which is 5880 times 0.28. G is going to be $1,648.86. H is going to equal C, 5888.8 times 0.45 gives you 2649.96 minus F, which is 1,000. So this would, I'm just typing this so you can see we're going to come up with this number. It would leave you $16.49 and 96 cents available for the back end ratio, which is almost exactly equal to the front end ratio. So on the maximum house payment, as an average, you would pick the lower of the two. In this case, it would be $1648.86. And this is typically the maximum available for this customer. Every lender is different. Some lenders go lower here and higher on both areas. So this is just an estimate for you to use.